It's Rich, Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you? Going to talk to you a little bit today about some of the things I've been learning and have to actually eat a little crow because of it. Yeah. So head on out to the kitchen, grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea. I got my coffee. I'm ready to go here. And we'll get right to it. See you in a minute. Alrighty, we are back. Yeah, that short intro doesn't give you much time to grab coffee, does it? You gotta run fast. Gotta run fast. They got a pause thing you can do though if you keep running yourself short on time. Uh, I know a lot of folks are probably wondering right now, he's eating crow for what? In doing research on this regenerative agriculture, you know, the bigger picture, I've done that for years, and the smaller scale is where it starts getting interesting because it's a little different if you're as you try to downsize this to make it work. And so I was looking into cover crop, how to take down your cover crop in a very small operation. Some of the principles still work the same. You can get a roller to roll it down, things of this nature. But I had said something in one of my very early videos, really giving another YouTuber some garbage, over the went out and spent like $250 on this fancy scythe. It's like, oh, and she's out using it to mow grass. It's like, why would you waste money on that? Buy a mower. It's like, come on. But now I'm beginning to see that in downsizing regenerative agriculture and cover crops that you need to build your soils, it could come in handy. Seriously, it could to terminate crops. It's like, looks like I was wrong about that one. There is still a reason for a sigh. Okay, you can still utilize it. So, yep, eating a little crow on that one. So I got to take that one back. Yeah, there's some uses out there for a sigh, and regenerative agriculture is a big part of that. You're going to need it. Although in some of my research, I have found out that there are some companies out there now. They're not really companies; they're actually just engineers who have taken this downsizing of regenerative agriculture. They see it works large scale, and it's like, how do we downsize this? And they're looking at, how farmers that are doing this are terminating crops, but yet having to use a drill to plant back into it. And if any of you went out hunting for this, a motorized drill that would fit in your average home garden, a little tough to find. But there is a company that's developed, manufacturer out of Tennessee, who is developing one. It's like, darn, I went that idea out the window. Something similar to a tiller, but it's actually a drill. So it's kind of cool. This is really beginning to wake people up on how to grow better food and how to help the planet while we're doing it. Now, I'm not a big fan of global warming. I think our temperatures would have to get a lot more carbon in the air than what we're doing, more CO2 gases, so forth, before it becomes an issue of actually changing the overall temperature of the planet. I think the sun has more to do with that than carbon. Okay? Now, that being said, is too much CO2 and so forth in the atmosphere not a good thing? Well, it depends on the sun, really. Right now, going into this new solar cycle, I don't know, maybe we should leave it up there and add to it and burn a lot of firewood or something. But hard to say. I'm not a climate expert by any stretch of the imagination. I kind of leave that up to them and hope they knew what they're talking about. But as far as normal circumstances here on planet Earth, green growing stuff works real good. you know, it really helps out. So, quit protesting at the power plants, kids, and get out and plant something. Okay, make some good use of your time. But it hit me that in this kind of thing you could use a sigh. And it's like, son of a gun. I was wrong about that. So maybe that, while she was using it for the wrong thing, I wouldn't want to get out and mow my lawn with a sigh. Okay, seems like a huge waste of time to me. When they make a machine that goes through, chops it up nice and fine, and you're done. But in terminating a cover crop, because they can get pretty tall. And the thing of it is, now you could get a mower in there and mow it and rake the residue around on your garden, and it'd be better than nothing. But let me tell you something. You ever seen a stand of rye that gets laid down? That's some soil armor right there. You know, you're protecting the soil from wind and from rain and so forth, because you get a hard downpour and hail, all different things that it keeps it from beating up your soil. And through this regenerative agriculture program, you're going to be learning, that's everything. You don't have good soil, you got nothing. Okay, you got nothing. And it's very, you're dealing with a microbiology and fungi and things of this nature in that soil, easily damaged, very easily damaged. And being able to protect that and keep it alive, well, and healthy. Wow. I had gotten into, I get into weird stuff. I had gotten into emailing back and forth with a soil biologist and on this topic. And bless her heart, and I don't mean that in the true Southern sense, calling her an idiot, because this lady is by no stretch of the imagination an idiot. She's got a whole alphabet behind her name of PhDs and doctorates and so forth, so she's knows what she's talking about. And she said basically you can take care of any situation out in your fields, any disease that comes along, things of this nature, through the biology in the soil. You learn to operate a microscope and learn to recognize the different pathogens and bacteria in the soil, and son of a gun, you can say, okay, this particular pathogen has shown up in my crop field. Let me treat it by adding this certain kind of bacteria mix or increase the number of this particular bacteria. So you feed that extra bacteria, because, the life cycle of bacteria and things of this nature are pretty quick. Okay? They're constantly reproducing. And that really hit me as, wow, that's fascinating when you think about it. That this big blue ball we're living on is that well designed, that you have to have all these scientists out there who are still scratching their head going, man, no kidding. It just happened by accident, right? Yeah. Somebody was pretty bright that designed this place, folks. Truly. And that's the secret to this whole thing. And I'm having a ball with this project, even though it's a lot of work. I'm up burning the midnight oil a lot on this one. And I hope you start enjoying it. Like I said, the first one was kind of this is what it is. The second series is this is what we're doing to our planet, and this is wrong. And I'm showing some examples of where we're going wrong. And it's kind of fascinating when you start looking at it all. And then we're going to get into how do we go about this. And I'm really trying to focus this series on, can you go out and buy dirt. Okay? That's one thing I was taught by this lady. Now, soil is a living, breathing, breeding entity. Okay? It is alive. From top to bottom, it's alive. What's going on in the farming field, in the farming community today, and what they've done to what used to be soil, it's now just dirt. Dirt. It's worthless. It has no value. When she told me that, I thought to myself, you know what? I wonder if I can make that part of the offer on some land. You don't have land. You don't have soil. You have dirt. She says that's what we need to do is get people thinking more along the lines of this is dirt. I don't really want this. But we're looking at the different ways to shortcut the process. Because, I mean, yes, you can go out and throw down some compost and plant a perennial prairie out there. Come back in 5 years and you can probably start growing a crop out there. But we're looking at the ways to do it faster. Okay? I mean, that's what agriculture is all about, right? We got big brains, opposing thumbs, like Joel Salatin says. Let's make it do it, grow it bigger, faster, quicker. And you can't because the life cycle of your microbiology is pretty short, but yeah, I've just learned truckloads about the symbiotic relationship between these bacteria and fungi and the plant that is amazing. But I did get asked a question, and I really stumbled around with the answer to that one, is how deep can a plant grow? How deep a root system can a plant put in a very short period of time? I thought a matter of, few inches, foot or two maybe. It's virtually, it'll drill down to the core of the planet if it needs to. It brought the whole new different outlook to the rocks in your soil. Don't complain too much, okay? If it is too rocky to even, to work with, then you got to do some work on that. But for the most part, those rocks laying there in the soil, well, they're waiting for plants to get in there and the microbiology to get in there and start converting sunshine and good old oxygen and the air, the gases in the air, into carbonic acid to dissolve them and release the fertilizers locked up inside them. Okay? So I guess what I've learned more than anything else, you don't need inputs. Okay? Everything you need is in that upper crust of this planet, including the rocks and so forth. Because there is more locked up in that soil than you can possibly imagine. But it needs that microbial life to get it out and put it back into the plant. Fascinating stuff. It really is. A little boring when you're dealing with the carbonic gases, this and that. But it is amazing. You just walk away shaking your head going, my gosh, what a design this planet is. Everything has its place. Okay? You can use biology to fix sick plants and drive disease out of your fields and things of this nature. Most farmers would cringe at the idea of planting stuff to draw insects towards your fields. Oh my gosh, they're going to eat my plants, And the fact of the matter is there's certain insects for every, I heard that for every one predator, there's like 1,000, or for every, bad insect that's going to eat your plants, there's about 1,000 predators. And if you draw those predators into the area, guess what's not going to be in your fields? You got it. They're going to eat them. Okay, that's simple. And when you start looking at the total as nature gets brought down to that microbial level, it's just amazing what kind of a planet we live on. And you have to look back and go, wow, why are we doing what we're doing? We're sitting upon a gold mine. All right? You go out and buy some nitrogen and have it thrown out in your field. You're going to be out some money. I'd heard one fellow say that by getting rid of the use of synthetic fertilizers in his fields, using regenerative agriculture, he had saved his immediate savings, okay, to his farm was $91,000 a year. And he was farming quite a bit. But 91,000, yeah, I'd like to take out of your operating expense 91,000 and put it in your pocket. How about you? And he's just using what nature has given him. That's it. He's just putting it to use. I'd also read a report that most plants, they got all the nutrients in it they need. You don't need to add anything. You know, if you've got the right biology in the soil, it's taken care of. You don't need to sweat it. And things of this nature. It is just, it's really been an uplifting experience. And like I said, it's been a lot of work because you got to go through tons of research. You know, and then try to make it semi-interesting. But yeah, when you really step back and look at what this planet is, you know, I can't hardly believe it just evolved like that. You know, every detail of this planet was designed for it to perform functions to keep animal life and sea life and so forth going, right down to the smallest little microbe that you need a big old microscope to find. Okay? Fascinating. Most humans don't have that kind of planning ability for creating something, okay? You know, that's a little like saying I want to build a house, so let me figure out how I'm going to build bedrock up to my, you know. It's crazy. But yeah, it's so I hope you enjoy this series. There's going to be a lot to it. There really is. And I'm trying to keep it geared to somebody who's never even heard those two words before in their life of regenerated agriculture. I'm trying to keep it simple. Okay? And if I can keep it on a simple term that whenever you hear it, you go, yeah, wow, that will work. You know, that it motivates more and more people to get out there and start doing it. This one coming up next week, or actually this week, this is doing this a couple days in advance. I try to get ahead of these things a little bit. But yeah, it's just fascinating to watch. And this next one coming up, it's going to kind of show you what we're doing wrong out here and how wrong it really is. We got to change this, folks. Our food. Do you realize that, you know, you hear all these guys talking about we got to feed the world. Feed them what? Okay? Feed them what? As far as nutrient dense food, you'd probably about as well out grazing your front lawn as going to a grocery store and buying vegetables, because it's that pathetic. And I'll be giving you the numbers on some of it, to the point that they quit testing and making public the nutritional value of your veggies that you're eating. Yeah, this is a good one for the vegetarians. The nutritional value of them for mass-produced vegetables is horrid. They even quit reporting it after 1991. It's kind of funny that GMOs and so forth and tougher herbicides all really came into their own about, you know, through the 80s and early 90s. Yeah, I wonder if there's any correlation there. Yeah. But our food is awful. If you're not growing your own food, understand that if you're going to the store to buy it, nutritional value in it's pathetic, just pathetic. And so you're eating more because your body's craving those nutrients, and you're going to be hungry until you take care of that intake of those nutrients. So guess what? You're going to have to eat more, a lot more than what probably even your parents did as children. Wonder why we're all overweight. Yeah, there it is. So, yeah, it's been an eye-opening experience to me, and I hope it becomes one to you all, and I'm trying to make it simple, because, man, you can get lost in the research out there. It's massive. But at the same time, it's fascinating when you get it just into, common sense terms. And I guess that's my problem. I've always been a real common sense kind of guy. And when I look at this, it's like, why did we get away from all this? Okay? Makes you go, somebody had to spur us to it. And this next series, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate mail in the comments from conventional farmers. Probably am, because I body slam them. I really do. And it's not their fault. Okay? I went to ag school too. Okay? Yeah, I know what they taught you. And they taught you to do what you're doing. And your quote unquote crop specialists come out and they reinforce it. And then your seed salesmen come out and they reinforce that. And your fertilizer salesmen come through and they reinforce it. And they, just a whole string of these experts keep telling you, if you want to stay in business, this is how you have to do it. I'm going to clue you in on the secret. If you keep doing it this way, you're not going to be in business. Okay? They're going to make a lot of money. You're going to lose your shirt. Because they don't care about you. All right? Yeah. They don't care. They want to make their money. And then they'll come back and buy your farm, probably fix what they're doing, and then they can become direct suppliers to the consumer and make even more money. Yeah. That's the plan, children. They're going to cut out the middleman. And don't let them do it to you. Roll up your sleeves. You can take absolutely dirt, herbicide contaminated dirt, and turn it around in a couple of years. You can do a gradual upgrade of things like cover crops and GMO seed. If that's all it'll grow in that soil, go with it. The idea is you've got to have a living root in that ground and a living plant on that surface all year long until Mother Nature kills it off herself. Leave it growing. Okay? If you look at how nature handles soil itself, you can have totally dead soil. What's the first thing that shows up? Weeds. That's Mother Nature's first. Let's throw those quick growing weeds that need very little nutrients to grow. Those things can grow on a sidewalk, Here you go. Then it begins to slowly, over years and years and years, by the time it's done, you got a native pasture. We don't have years and years, folks. We need to be able to get in there and get it done, because we can't go out and spend a small fortune on a farm to have it sit idle. Speaking of that was one thing, it really hit me, especially watching the CO2 in the atmosphere. It really woke me up to something. Back during the Obama administration, okay, his big push for ethanol, where he told all the farmers, go plow your fields, get in there and grow corn. I'm going to have these plants built, and we're going to be running so much ethanol and yada, 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 yada. And then after the first season, all the experts went into the White House and said, listen, pal, all this greenhouse gas that you're going to try to save from hitting the atmosphere over a period of years, Your program just released more than that into the atmosphere because they took a lot of conservation land, millions of acres of conservation land, which were taking greenhouse gases out of the air. And you just told the farmers to go plow them suckers under and release all that carbon. Not a good move. And they backed off the ethanol. Purely because he didn't want somebody running around saying, listen, you caused a bigger problem than you solved it. Okay? Man doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to this planet. Doesn't know. That's simple. We are beginning to step back, and what are we using for a model? Nature. We're watching what she does. And we're beginning to say, that works. Son of a gun. See what I'm talking about? And like I said, I want to work this series through to where if you're putting in a small backyard garden, you'll be able to institute this. Okay? Because for every living plant, that's what you breathe, folks. It's what they exhale. We have a symbiotic relationship also with the plant. Get rid of them all. Okay? And you're not going to last long either. That's the important part. These rainforests and stuff, the deforestation in the southern hemisphere, is because they go in there, they use modern agricultural techniques. They'll tear down a bunch of trees, tear up a forest, plant a crop, and after a few years, the soil starts dying. Their crops aren't growing. So they go tear down more forest. That's our very livelihood, folks. That's the oxygen we breathe. We better wake up and truly start becoming stewards of the land. Because if we don't, we got tough times coming. Okay? And there's a massive amount of research and information out there if you want to crawl through all of it. I've got file folders full of PDFs of scientific information and so forth that you try to fish through and put into layman terms, okay, and how that will work. Let's get to it. I'm trying to make this simple, okay? Just simple, basic, here's what you got to do. You know, this is what the soil requires. This is what your plants require. And this is what this planet, if it's going to continue with us on it, to survive. Because trust me, this planet gets rid of us, it got rid of its biggest problem. Okay? Seriously. And we would not be the first species to go extinct because of nature. She can fight back. Keep that in mind. Native Americans had it right. Live with the land. Only take what you need. And always put back. This is Rick, Desi Homestead. I hope you guys start enjoying this thing. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. But luckily, I can glean people who have been doing this for decades of what they do and what they know. And that's what I'm trying to do. Take all this scientific information and simplify it. And hopefully some person who has never stuck a shovel into the soil will be able to catch on and go, that's how I should be doing this. Okay. Anyway, I love and appreciate you guys. And I hope you're going to have a wonderful week. Seriously. I hope you had a great Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you real soon. Take care.